this morning as you and I are doing this to some big breaking news. The most high profile person who has connections with Jeffrey Epstein has been arrested, and that's the former Prince Andrew.
Mhm.
And wow, I wonder how the other folks are feeling. Maybe he's going to start singing like a canary. Who knows?
It's insane, and it's the fact that he's being arrested for not the sex trafficking side, so far as we know, but for giving information to
Right.
Epstein. So we're seeing interconnected crimes happening. It's similar to Peter Mandelson, who was the former U.S. ambassador, British U.S. ambassador in the UK. He's under criminal investigation too for also providing trade secrets to Epstein. So what we're seeing is kind of like what Ro Khanna and Ossoff call this Epstein class being fully exposed here.
Yeah. So I'm looking for this article, um, because I had it this morning and somehow I lost it in my thing. But here it is. A list of the people who have suffered consequences from Jeffrey Epstein. And a lot of those are titans of business, Ahmed,
Mhm.
and not political folks. And wouldn't you know, now I can't, it's not letting me do it, but I had it up this morning. But look, even, members um, of governments, foreign governments have had to resign, right? They have been
Mhm.
pushed out. There have been titans of business in a number of countries who have had to resign, but um, the United States, pretty much none of the people who are mentioned, who are either elected officials or who are in a cabinet, have suffered any consequences. I think it is outrageous and bizarre.
Yeah, it's totally outrageous. You're right. There's this accountability gap happening where in the UK, especially, people are losing titles. Like you said, we got Peter Mandelson, who had to step down as US ambassador. We have former Prince Andrew here now being arrested, already been stripped of his title. And then we see other royals. There's a royal in Norway facing pressure. And in the UK, Prime Minister Keir Starmer almost
Yeah.
was forced to resign for
Yeah.
simply hiring Peter Mandelson, like for simply being, and then his chief of staff. So literally, there were people who were just involved in hiring Peter Mandelson, who was connected to Epstein, who are facing accountability. Meanwhile, in the U.S., we have Donald Trump, who Virginia Giuffre was trafficked from Mar-a-Lago, who did the birthday card, all of these ties. Howard Lutnick visited Epstein Island and lied about
Yeah.
it. And no one's being held accountable. Republicans are protecting them.
Yeah, look, we have, let's see, Kathy Rumler, who is
Mhm.
Goldman Sachs' top lawyer, turned in her resignation following weeks of scrutiny over her communications with a convicted sex offender. You have Brad Karp, high-powered corporate lawyer, resigned as the chairman of Paul Weiss, calling reports about his relationship with Epstein a distraction for the White Shoe law firm. He also stepped down from the board of trustees of his alma mater, Union College. Then you have Peter Attia, who is the new CBS contributor and longevity expert, stepped down as the chief science officer of David Protein, a protein brand, and is no longer an advisor to the sleep technology company 8 Sleep. But somehow CBS is saying it's okay. I think Barry Weiss, according to reports, reportedly, allegedly, is calling it, saying that she doesn't want to be part of cancel culture. She thinks that's part of cancel culture. Howard Lutnick, who is the Commerce Secretary. He's facing bipartisan calls from lawmakers to resign after emails show he planned a visit to Epstein Island with the family in 2012. Lutnick previously said that he severed ties with Epstein, his former Manhattan neighbor, after meeting him in 2005. Turns out that was not true.
Mhm.
Then you've got, let's see, Casey Wasserman, announcing in February that he is selling his talent agency after his name appeared in the Epstein files,
Larry
sparking a
Summers.
growing fallout. Yeah. Thank you. Larry Summers, right? And then you talked about Peter Mendelsohn,
Mhm.
and that Morgan McSweeney, who is resigned as the chief of staff for British Prime Minister Keir Starmer. All of these folks, the Sultan
Oh, yeah.
Ahmed bin Sulayem, right?
Mhm.
Same thing. So
Yeah.
Sulayem. So why not why aren't these folks suffering any consequences? Why isn't Howard Lutnick facing the music or suffering any sort of consequences? It's
Because
crazy.
yeah, it's insane because the Republican Party's created an infrastructure of grift and unaccountable corruption with Donald Trump and this administration. I mean, the fact that some of these people you named have far less ties to Epstein than Donald Trump does. And that's insane that they would lose their job in some of in these lower positions, whereas the president of the United States, it's not disqualifying for him to send a birthday letter where he's clearly indicating some shared secret, or the fact that multiple plural girls, as he said, were taken from Mar-a-Lago by Epstein, and the fact Epstein said specifically that Trump knew about the girls. Of course he knew. It's insane. And Lutnick, there are people who are losing their jobs who aren't even tied to it at all. Like you said, Keir Starmer, chief of staff, these other individuals literally just were involved at elevating Mandelson to power. They didn't do anything with Epstein, and they lost their jobs because of poor judgment. And it's like, what is going on?
What do you think happened when they found out? I mean, I wonder if they alerted the US government about this, but I'm wondering what happened in the White House and the administration, like how quickly they were scurrying to come up with some sort of press release or what they were going to say in the press, because people are going to be asking. And that's what is on everybody's mind. Tell the truth. When I heard about Prince Andrew, I was like, "Oh, I wonder who's next, and is he going to start spilling beans if he knows anything?" But also, the question for me was, well, when is accountability gonna happen in the United States? That was
Yeah.
my question. I think that's everybody's.
That's everybody's question. If we were in a functioning society where Republicans weren't just reflexively defending Donald, I think he would have already been facing calls to resign. And yes, definitely smash the heart, subscribe. Don's out here at the airport right now, still hustling, doing the live. Subscribe to that. Subscribe to that, man. Yeah. So, but like, yeah, Trump is. They're all defending him. Meanwhile, they're bringing Bill Clinton and Hillary in to interrogate them, but not Donald. What is it's absurd. It's absurd. And like, again, that's why I'm glad that like Ossoff and Ro Khanna and others are talking about it as the Epstein class, because it's really not just about the pedophilia itself. It's that network of well-connected people in high society that Epstein basically gamed the networking system of high society to get protection, to get enablement, and to get access. And those people now we're seeing with this Andrew charge, potentially, if he's charged, we're seeing the exterior crimes beginning to be charged, the ones about trading information, sharing trade secrets, and that could open up a whole new can of worms of who could be charged here that weren't directly involved in the pedophilia.
Yeah, earlier in the month, they said that the Thames Valley Police said that it was looking into a claim that the former prince, while serving as UK trade envoy in 2010, had shared confidential documents with Epstein. One email in the latest US release appears to show Prince Andrew, or former Prince Andrew, forwarding Epstein a report from his special advisor about the then prince's visit to Southeast Asia. Of course, former Prince Andrew has not commented on the latest batch of files published by the Department of Justice. But yeah, so what about, it makes me wonder about all of these redactions.
Mhm.
And then all of a sudden, Pam Bondi coming out saying, "And we've released all of it. We're done." And and you've got Garcia and Ro Khanna going, "Wait, no, you're not done. This is not all of the files. And why aren't we seeing the unredacted files or all of the
Exactly.
unredacted files?"
Because that's the right question to ask. Because that Emirati you named earlier, he was originally redacted. To my knowledge, he was originally redacted. The one about the I like. He sent an email to Epstein saying, "I like the torture videos."
Mhm,
Before
mhm.
he had to resign because it was unredacted. What are these other redactions? What about that person who said your little girl was naughty or something? There was some redacted person who sent that email to Epstein, disgusting stuff. There are so many others here, and the reasoning behind some of these redactions is national security. So what does that tell you? Who else are they protecting? Who else within the government? What Trump allies are being protected? How much is Donald being protected himself? And now that we're seeing now prosecutions of these more these other crimes that are just about how Epstein exploited information. He was a broker basically of information, of people, of access, and those are starting to be charged now in the UK. So
Mm.
what are we gonna? I know Pam Bondi's not gonna do it, but like, I'm wondering if there are some crimes that are committed in individual states, if we're going to see some state AGs, maybe in New York, potentially, maybe Letitia James, maybe
Mhm.
some other state AGs will start looking into this more as these files become public. Because if we're now going to be prosecuting the illegal access, trading, insider information stuff that was going to Epstein, I really think we could be seeing Like this is really one of the biggest scandals of all time, frankly.
Of all time. So look, this is Ted Lieu. Okay, this is Ted Lieu. Ted Lieu has explosive new allegations against Trump
Hmm.
about the Epstein files, including the R word, right? And threatening to kill. So this is the reporting again from this is from the I think it's the Hindustan Times, and it says, and there are many different outlets who are reporting this, and he said it on camera. U.S. Representative Ted Lieu claims unredacted Epstein files mentioned Donald Trump thousands of times with disturbing allegations of grape. You know what I'm talking about, involving minors.
Yeah.
Again, that's what he's saying. He's a California House rep. He dropped these explosive new allegations against Trump over the mention of the latter's name, meaning Trump's name in the Epstein files. He claimed that the unredacted Epstein files, which were viewed by a select group of U.S. House reps, contain disturbing allegations against Donald Trump. Lewis claiming that in the unredacted Epstein files, Trump is mentioned thousands and thousands of times. It's a quote from him, and he claims that files allege that Trump raped and threatened to kill minors. Donald Trump is in
Yeah.
the Epstein files thousands and thousands of times, Lou said. In those files, there are highly disturbing allegations of Donald Trump doing what I just mentioned. Again, that's his quote. He was attacking the Republicans over the House Oversight Committee hearing of Bill and Hillary Clinton, former president and first lady, over their alleged links with Jeffrey Epstein. So he has the same questions. But those allegations, and I've heard that these allegations from others, and people saying, well, perhaps this is why he's coming after independent media, because independent media are the only folks who are talking about this. It's on social media,
Yeah.
but you don't hear this in mainstream or corporate media because he has managed to kneecap corporate and mainstream media. So again,
Exactly.
those are Ted Lieu's allegations, and that's what's happening out in the zeitgeist.
No, exactly. And Raskin himself also said over 1 million times Donald's named in unredacted files. Raskin used the word million, which is insane. But yeah, there's these allegations that you're right. Mainstream media. That's one of the reasons why he targeted you, frankly, is to make an example and to try to say to chill speech for other independent media. So obviously, subscribe if you guys are watching and hit that like button because we need that support while you're doing the work. And also, he tried to chill speech, but obviously you're still talking about the allegations. We're still talking about it because these are what Pam Bundy would be investigating and not talking about the Dow. When she got asked about this, like if she's investigating these other people, she was like, but the Dow is 50,000.
The Dow. The Dow. Have you seen there's like a music video that they made
Yeah,
that they made a song called The Dow?
it's
Yeah.
great. It's great.
Yeah.
She embarrassed herself.
Yeah.
And
You
she's
know,
not
people
following those leads.
okay, sorry. But you know, people come up to me in the airport now and they'll say, you know, I wasn't sure if it was you because, you know, I'm wearing a hat and all that stuff. And they said, you know, I feel sorry for what happened to you and it's terrible. You were treated wrong. And she goes, and then they'll say, but the Dow is up 50,000. Is that, and it's become a running joke.
Oh, it's a total meme. Yeah, yeah. Whenever my wife's like, "Hey, did you take out the trash?" I'm like, "Babe, did you know that the Dow is 50,000 right now? Like, don't worry about the trash, okay? The Dow." Yeah, I mean, it's insane, man. Like, it's
Well,
crazy.
I wonder if that's going to be his excuse for the Epstein files. Well, it was. That was her excuse for not really talking about
Yeah,
a lot of things. Is that we should be talking about the Dow, and
yeah.
I wonder if they're going to say we should be talking about the Dow now that Prince Andrew has been arrested.
Or he might strike Iran and to try to divert our attention to. There's like, oh yeah, the wagging the dog.
Uh,
Timing. Um, it's we don't know what he'll do, but I do know he's shook. And the way Pam Bundy acted in that hearing, there all did was draw more attention to the Epstein stuff. It backfired, but she clearly got instruction to go in there and you know push back
but
forcefully. He's scared.
yeah, but Ahmed, what was I going to say? As it relates to him, and for Iran, he's saying part of the reason that he wants to strike them is that they're killing protesters. And that they overturned an election or something like that, and that and it
Right?
wait, what?
You,
What?
the calls coming from inside the house, dog. Are you kidding me? What?
I mean,
It's absurd. Like
it is absurd.
it's just insane. It's just the amount of gaslighting. It's just insane. But like, yeah, people aren't falling for it. He's weakening. We've talked about this often. The
Yeah.
polling, and that's why he's acting out.
Well, what is it? San Lung Gina. San, I can't pronounce your name. I'm sorry. And the chat is going. Tomorrow is Friday. Everything happens on Friday. It's true.
Yeah,
Some sort of information dump or document dump is going to happen on Friday.
yeah. It probably will, or potential strike on Iran. Something will happen because he loves disrupting our weekends. Wants us to have zero peace.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I think it's just absurd. The accountability gap with the Epstein stuff is insane, and this administration is clearly afraid. So they're going to keep acting out.
Ahmed Baba, you're the best,
You're
buddy.
the
I'll
best,
see
brother.
you.
Good luck with everything. I'll see you, man. Safe flight, okay?
Thank you. Get some rest.
All right.
And
We'll
I'll try as
try.
well. See you. Thanks.
You're gonna keep us up. All right. Peace.
Later.